Okay guys, so today we're going to be quite busy. It's the first weekend that we've got the full weekend at home, mostly. So we're going to get loads of jobs done. So what we do? I've been clearing bits and pieces during the week in the garden. I'm going to carry on doing a bit more of that. We've got various jobs to do. We've got to clean out gutters. We've got, I'll show you in a little while, we've got a drainage ditch that runs to the side of the house, and that's all been falling in. Ideally, we need to get a digger and dig it out, but in the meantime, there's a load of debris and branches and things that have fallen in there, so we're going to have a go at pulling all that out. I've got some seeds to be getting on with. I did sow a load of onions up at the allotment, which I know is rather foolish of me because we suffer with onion rot up at the allotment, and I probably lose about 2/3 of the crop, but I just can't help myself. I have to grow them. I've decided I'm not growing them here because of all that soil we've been shifting. I'm slightly cautious as to what sort of stuff is in it. So I'm a bit reluctant to put. So we've decided that we're not really going to grow many root crops this year, partly because where we've been covering all those weeds up with the cardboard and putting the soil on top, we haven't really got enough to give us a really deep layer of compost. So we feel that that's probably not the best thing. But also we don't quite know what was in all that compost. It was an old chicken shed and compost bins, but we don't know what else the previous owners put in there. So we're just thinking maybe this year we'll just grow things above ground in that section, just in case. I mean, I think it looks fine and whatever, but so I mean, it's probably fine because it is all composted down to soil. But there's just a little bit of me that just thinks, oh, so we're not going to grow any root crops there. So what are we going to grow in that section? Mostly peas and beans and squashes and tomatoes and that sort of thing. So and maybe a bit of sweet corn. But yeah, so I have got some onions left over from where I planted them at the allotment. So I'm going to put some in some pots here. I thought that would be quite nice just to have a few here where I can harvest the tops and things like that. So we've got all the seeds to sow. And we may come back in the kitchen to do a few kitcheny bits later. We've got the ditch to do, the gutters to clear. There were a few other jobs. Oh, still barrowing some of that soil onto those beds. We haven't finished yet because I've said before it's really, really hard work. So we're just pacing ourselves. We're not getting any younger, so we just want to try and preserve all our hands and elbows and knees so that we can actually continue with all the projects. So so I'm going to get started now. I'm going to head into the greenhouse and do a bit of sowing. I think it's really cold by all accounts. It doesn't look it, but it is really cold. And actually I might do some barrowing first just to get me warmed up. So see you outside. Okay, so I'm going to start by sowing some broad beans. I've got 3 varieties here. They're just left over from last year. I've got, what's this one? Aquadolce Claudia. I've got, I don't know how to pronounce this one, Leeds Hang Down. I don't know if you can see, what does it say? Leeds Hang Down, I can't read that one. And then this one, this is just a few that someone at my old allotment gave me just to try out. Luz du Otono, they're supposed to be really delicious. So I know there's only a handful here, but I'm just using up seed this year and just making do with what I've got. I may get another packet, we'll see, but let's crack on with this. What I usually do is I sow them into these sort of cells. That works really well for me. So I've filled it with the compost and I'll just show you what I'm up to now. So all I'm going to do is make a little hole in there. So we're going to start with these ones. There's not many in here, so it's about 10. So I'm just going to plop those in there. Oops. I tend to put them in sideways. I never know if that's right or not, but that's how I do it. That one's a bit yucky, let's get rid of that. One left over. I'll just stick that in another one. Then we'll just pop a little bit of soil over the top. Label it. That's the first lot done. So these ones are those leads, lides, hang down. I think there's a similar amount of these ones too. Much smaller bean. Exactly the same amount of beans as the other one. That's quite funny. So I've got 2 left of those. I am just going to, because I don't want to waste any, just sow all these other ones, just in case. I do have some beetroot, so I'm just going to sow those into these here just to get an early start. I've got various types, so I'm just going to sow these ones. These are called Detroit Globe 2. So I do believe I've got some more of those here. Are they? So we'll just sprinkle a few. On each one, and then just pop a little bit of soil on the top. I know it's not many, but I'm just getting a few in. So most of the beetroot, I actually I usually sow beetroot direct into the ground, so I'll just do a few like that. Next, tomatoes. Okay, now I usually sow tomatoes just in a pot like this, and I keep it somewhere warm in the house. I'm not going to do all of them now. I'm just going to do a few this year. So I've got Sweet Million. This is delicious. They're really delicious. The name, they live up to the name. Really sweet. Gardener's Delight. Can't go wrong with that. Sun Gold. I tried these last year. They're really delicious too. So that's my cherries. I'm going to grow a plum Roma, Pomodoro, and I've had these seeds for years, and there's so many seeds in here, and so I managed to grow some every year. Oh, I've still got some other cherry ones. These are yellow pear, and these are the ones I grew last year, the yellow ones. I thought they were called something different, but they're yellow pear. And Black Russian. Now, is this a beefsteak? I think, is that a beefsteak one? I don't know, but they're the ones I've grown this year, and that's purely because that's what I've got. So I'm just trying to use up all my seed this year, and then next year I'm going to start again with fresh. Right, what shall I sow this morning? I think I might sow the plum ones. As I say, I've had this seed for years and it still does the job. It actually says sow by 2016, so it'll be interesting to see if they come up again. seed. I mean, there's still so much, I don't know if you can see there, so much seed in there. Oops. I never even bought these. These were given to me by a neighbour many years ago. He's since passed away, but they're still going, well, until last year they were certainly still going strong. Let's see if they do this year. I'm going to do the Gardener's Delight next. Oh, they're tiny. Sun Gold. It comes with a handy little label. So I'm going to give these a watering in, and I'm going to, the broad beans I'm going to leave here in the greenhouse. I'm going to make sure they're covered up because I don't want mice to get them, which has happened previously. The tomatoes, I'll take them in and put them under a cloche on a warm windowsill until they're up. It's more tricky here. We don't have an airing cupboard, and there's not really any really warm windowsills to put things on, so I'm really struggling to find places to put them on. It's still too cold in the greenhouse, so it's a bit tricky to know where to put things this year, but we'll just have to try our best and see what we can do. Right, let's get moving with these. So I don't know if you can hear me or not, hopefully you can. The microphone ran out, so I'm having to film this without a microphone. It's really windy, so I'm really hoping that you can hear me. Just got my cup of tea. Just got some soup on for lunch. So we have planted the onions and all the seeds. I've barrowed some of the soil. what you didn't see is that we were clearing some of the gutters where they were leaking. They were absolutely covered with moss and what have you. I'll take a shot in a minute just to show you how much came from one small gutter. So we're going to have some lunch and then we're going to get on with the drainage ditch, and I will take you around there, and hopefully we'll have a microphone working by then. So let's enjoy this cup of tea. It's really cold, it's really windy. I've got a big old coat on just to keep me warm, but I will say it's a gorgeous day. It's absolutely beautiful, even though it is windy. Yeah, it's exciting. Spring is coming. Right, I'll finish my cup of tea and then I'll have a spot of lunch. It's so windy, even the tripod is blowing about in the wind. So one of the jobs we need to do today is this drainage ditch. Ideally we need to get a digger to it, but as you can see it's full of twigs and ivy and all sorts. So as you can see it's full of twigs and all sorts of things. So I think the plan for today is just to pull out all the bits of ivy and the twigs and things, and perhaps just rake up a little bit, and then take it from there. So and I think we need a digger, or can we get a team of people together, do you think, maybe, to dig it out? What do you think? What you think? Maybe 6 or 7 of us all taking a section might, yeah, I think, because it's not terrible, is it? So, right, do you think we start at that end and work our way up? Right, I think we're going to start at that end and work our way back. So, I need to get my gloves on. Rather annoyingly, I've left my other rake up at the allotment, so we just have to make do with what we've got. So what we're going to do is keep all the twigs and things for firewood and for kindlings. We'll put them elsewhere, just in a pile. I think we'll pop those in a pile, and then we'll have a rubbish heap over. We'll have a rubbish heap over there somewhere, I think. So yeah, I think I'll just crack on with that. So I just noticed there's a mahonia here. I wouldn't necessarily choose this spot for it, just because this is a south-facing spot. Mahonias do really well in the shade, so I may dig that up and put that somewhere else. I've also got this. This is Lords and Ladies. Now it's a weed that's absolutely everywhere here. It's quite poisonous, so I have been working on sections in the back clearing this, which is quite an arduous task. But we'll get there eventually. We'll never get rid of it completely, but we'll be able to get on top of it. But yeah, I mean, it looks quite pretty, but it is just everywhere. I can see there's a few forget-me-nots popping up here. There is this. Now, I don't know what this is, but they're quite pretty. There's 3 of them here. But apart from that, so far, I can't see much else. There's down here, there's a bit of lemon balm. I think it's lemon balm. Let me just, yeah, some lemon balm. Something here. There's not much. My plan for this, once it's all cleared, I want to sort of plant it all up to stop the bank, to stop all of this falling in, so that we've got the roots holding the bank together. So the cameraman's trying to make me laugh again. Okay, have you finished? Right, where was I? Yeah, there's not that many plants here anyway, and there's a few things, there's some vinca minor up there and a few bits and pieces like that, but nothing really that special. But yeah, like I said, the plan is, once we've cleared and done what we need to do, to plant up this bank to stop all the soil falling back in, so the roots will just hold it together. But in the meantime, I mean, we have also a lot of these trees, I don't know if you can see up there, but they're overhanging a power line. The power people are coming to sort this out. So, and again, until that's done, there's no point planting anything along here at all. So they're all ash trees. And this one, if you look at the trunk of this one, I mean, it's huge. If I just, oops, it's absolutely huge. But unfortunately, we've got ash dieback in a lot of them, so they do need to come down, unfortunately. But we'll plant something in place of them, so all is not lost. Right, let's crack on. So it's proving quite a task, which is what we thought. So we can see that it is wet down there, so we know it is draining down there. It's mostly just ivy and decomposing leaves and a few twigs and things. I think I'm just clearing as much of the debris out as possible. And actually the ivy that's on this edge, just down here, is helping to hold the bank together. Although, because it sprawls and what have you, I still think it's worth getting a digger to pull it back and to get something that's a bit more manageable. We'll have to ponder that, but yeah, it's a big job. I'll just spin you around to show you what happened. So I've seemed to have created more mess than when I started. So just behind me here, I've been sort of pulling everything back onto the side here. We've burnt quite a lot. So all this section, all the way along here to about there. So that's what it would have looked like. And that's what we've done. So basically we've cleared all the twigs and the ivy that's actually crawling across it. We've dug it out a little bit. We haven't got all the way to the end, but I think that's looking pretty good at the moment, so far, this side. I'm just watching our septic tank just emptied out to the end there. So we've just got a section, just that little bit there, that we need to dig out. And then it's deciding what to do with all of this. We definitely need to sort of plant up along this edge. I don't want it to be full of ivy, because ivy just trails along and climbs up everything and kills the trees, and it just makes such a mess. So any suggestions for some good plants with a good root system to hold this bank together would be really appreciated. Look at that view. Isn't that incredible? We've got to open it up a bit. There's a window just behind me which eventually is going to be our kitchen, and we will look out across this field. So yeah, that is one of the reasons we bought this, because it's so beautiful. They're oak trees in the distance there, and there are some ponies in there. They're retired race horses. I don't know where they are at the moment, but yeah, it's beautiful. Right, we've managed to burn so much today. It's been perfect conditions just for getting all the ivy and whatnot burnt. There we go, the last few bits from a hard day's work. So thank you once again for joining me here on the homestead. I hope you'll join me again soon, and yeah, who knows what we'll be doing next. More of that ditch, I think. We've got some cooking things coming up soon. Sorry, I'm just checking the fire's all right. Yeah, so thank you once again for joining me here on the homestead. I hope you'll join me again soon. Until then, see you soon. Bye.